What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jericholic8704, here to give you a review of the first ever episode of WWE ECW on Sci-Fi. This little series was requested by Barry MK400. I just want to give him a shout out for getting the idea and the ball rolling, because without him I wouldn't have known that these episodes were being uploaded onto the network. So yeah, all of the original WWE ECW has been uploaded to the network as of, I believe, July 11th. So I'm going to review the first episode. This isn't the WWE versus ECW show. This is the one after One Night Stand. So to open up the show, they were just showing clips of the pay-per-view, and they showed RVD winning the WWE Championship, and they showed clips of Cena going ballistic the next night on Raw and beating the hell out of Edge, and he was all pissed because he got screwed out of the title. So then the intro plays. The theme song is Bodies by Drowning Pool, which is probably my least favorite song in the history of the world. So we have an opening segment. Rob Van Dam comes out for a promo. Well, Paul Heyman comes out first, and then he introduces Rob Van Dam immediately. And, I was watching this, and, they had, a different vibe to the show. It was in Trenton, New Jersey, so it wasn't, the ECW arena. But they did their best to kind of make it more of a secluded feeling, kind of like the ECW arena. And I was like, I wonder when it was. Because, obviously, for those of you who don't know, or try to forget, once, ECW ended in 2010, it was one of the worst things on WWE in a long time. And I was just like, when did ECW go wrong? When was the exact moment that, this whole experiment went down the tubes? And it was the first episode. Because RVD comes out, right? And, he's the WWE champion. He's thanking the fans. He's thanking everyone. He's hoping that John Cena will come so they can celebrate. Paul Heyman pulls out the ECW championship and presents it to Rob Van Dam. So now he's decked out with, two championships. And all of a sudden, Edge and Lita come out. And Edge says he respects Rob Van Dam no matter what he thinks of ECW. And he mentions how he and Rob Van Dam broke the glass ceiling, and that'll be an honor to face him at Vengeance. So, Heyman raises RVD's hands, and Edge goes to leave the ring, and then all of a sudden Edge just spears him. So Rob Van Dam, again, looks like the biggest dork. Paul Heyman is surprised that the rated R superstar, the evil, conniving heel Edge, is going to, he's going to be respectful. He's not going to do things his own way and ruin Paul Heyman's show. So I don't know why Paul Heyman would have thought that Edge would have been an innocent bystander in this whole thing, and he'd have just come in, applauded Rob Van Dam and, shake his hand and then vow to beat him for the title at Vengeance. You know what I mean? So Edge spears Rob Van Dam, and Edge does a little RVD thing, and when he does this, he reveals some of the biggest pit stains I've ever seen in my entire life. I guess it was hot in Trenton, New Jersey. I believe this was in June, so it makes sense. But yeah, this was just, I don't know, Rob Van Dam kind of looked like a geek here. And then Edge is escaping through the crowd, and right behind him is John Cena, and John Cena goes and beats up on Edge for a bit. He throws him back by ringside, and John Cena, starts wailing on him and everything. And Rob Van Dam, he pushes John Cena aside so he can beat up on Edge some more. And then because Rob Van Dam and John Cena are idiots, they get distracted by each other's own hatred for Edge. And they stare at each other for a bit, and then Edge low blows Rob Van Dam, and he bails. And Cena goes after him, and he texts Paul Heyman on the way out. So Paul Heyman and Rob Van Dam get embarrassed on their own show. And then the next segment is a backstage segment, and Heyman's like, look, I'm all pissed. Next week on Monday Night Raw, we're all going to invade because I'm so pissed that WWE ruined this for me. So after we got the opening segment bullshit out of the way, it's time for a match. It's time for the first match of ECW on Sci-Fi, the new revamped ECW. And what do we get? Well, we get some haunted house music coming out, and all of a sudden this motherfucker, I forgot about this guy. So the zombie comes out, and he's just doing his classic zombie walk, and he's just being weird, and the fans have no idea what's going on because it's a fucking zombie on an ECW show. And he gets the microphone, and he just, he just makes those sounds for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Sandman's music hits, and he does his little beer thing. And honestly, when I saw Sandman come out, I was like, you know what? I bet the zombie is a better wrestler than Sandman. So he comes out, he gets little to no reaction initially, and then when Sandman comes out, people start getting into it. And then he just canes the hell out of the zombie, and then hits the Russian leg sweep for the win. I gave it 6 1/4. So then we had Kelly backstage. Well, I should reiterate that it's just Kelly. She hasn't gotten her last name of Kelly yet. So she just is in like her skimpy outfit, and she's like, I'm Kelly, and I'm an exhibitionist, which means I'm gonna take off all my clothes. That's honestly, I think I could have made this sexier than Kelly Kelly, because she just had zero charisma. She had no idea what she was doing. And they basically just told her to say these lines, and she tried to do it the best she could, but just, it was awful. And then we had what at first thought were clips of Taz defeating Jerry Lawler at One Night Stand. Because, sometimes they'll just play snippets of it, or they'll just show a bunch of still images. It was like literally just solid 10 minutes of the opening of One Night Stand. They showed the full entrance for Taz, the full entrance for Lawler, and they showed the full match. And sure, the full match was like a minute, but still, I was like, damn, we couldn't get to, the actual ECW wrestling, but I guess we have to recap, the most insignificant match at One Night Stand. So then we had Kurt Angle versus Justin Credible. This was essentially a squash match. Kurt Angle came out, he's all intense and everything. He's the Extreme Wrestling Machine. He just kind of he does some double leg takedowns on Justin Credible. He just kind of toys with him for a bit, grapevines him with the legs and everything. Eventually, Credible just stands up and slaps Angle. Kurt Angle just puts him in a choke, and that was it. So after the match, Kurt Angle just says he's going to make Orton tap out regardless when he faces him at Vengeance, because Orton's claim was because he was in an ECW arena, he had an unfair advantage. Kurt Angle did. So Orton was going to face Angle in a WWE ring where Orton would have the clear advantage. So then we had another backstage segment, and Heyman's talking to the crowd, and he's like, listen, if you want to see Extreme, I'll show you Extreme. Tonight we'll have a 10-man Extreme Battle Royal. And that's all it said, and he said the winner will take on John Cena at Vengeance. So Kelly is once again backstage, and in her not-so-charismatic, sexy voice, she says, I'm up next, and I'm going to show all of my assets. And just, again, I honestly think I could have done a better job than Kelly Kelly. I know I could have. I know I could have been a better fake exhibitionist than Kelly Kelly on this show. I know for a fact I would. I might have gotten booed off the stage when I came out and they saw that I was a guy, but I still think I could have hyped this up better than Kelly Kelly. So anyway, they come back from commercial break, and sometimes, they do this every show, where, they'll show the outside of the arena, like, oh, we're here in, where were they again? Let me check really quick. Trenton, New Jersey. We're here in Trenton, New Jersey for ECW. So they do this shot of the arena, and they pan out a little bit, and then there's an image of Kevin Thorne. So we have that debut to look forward to. The riveting career of Kevin Thorne, who was actually Mordecai before he was Kevin Thorne, and both of those gimmicks sucked dick. So then we had Kelly's expose. Okay, just looking back on it, this was the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. Honestly, I'll be 100% honest with you guys. I remember watching this. I remember watching the initial ECW episode when I was a fan in 2006. I was going into 4th grade. If this is June of 2006, I just finished 3rd grade, and I was going into 4th grade. And honestly, when I saw the striptease, I actually thought, I was like, holy shit, is she actually going to get naked on the show? And I was about to lose my mind. And I was like, oh my god, I have to watch ECW every single week. But that's when I was a young, immature, stupid lad. Now I am a mature adult. And I can look back on this, and I'm actually a year older than Kelly Kelly was in 2006. I'm 20 years old. Kelly Kelly was 19, doing a striptease for a wrestling audience. They hired her to do this. Granted, I know it's all part of a giant storyline with Mike Knox and everything. Maybe her character can be an exhibitionist, but does she really have to do these stripteases? She's 19 years old. She's barely legal. How apropos for an ECW review. But that's still kind of I don't know, I still felt kind of ugh, this girl's only 19 years old and she's doing this for all these people. There's kids out there. There's, really, there's older adults out there, you know what I mean? Both men and women that are out there. I don't know. This just didn't feel like it felt like on a wrestling program at all. You know what I mean? This was just so, it was, and there's so many more of these, you know what I mean? And it's just the same thing every single week, and it was just, granted, when I was a kid, Mike Knox was the biggest fucking heel in the world, you know what I mean? But again, that's when I was a stupid, young, immature lad. And as an adult, I can look back on this and just be like, why the fuck would they do this to her? Why would they make her do this? This is just dumb. And like, you couldn't have her just be a ring announcer. You couldn't have her just be a valet. Like, I know she was a valet for Mike Knox, but, like, I just feel like this was totally unnecessary. And it's not like it drew any sort of rating. Like, if you watched ECW and the next night you're with your buddies at, like, the bar, you're not going to say, hey, you better watch ECW, this girl strip teases. Like, who's going to watch for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, the ECW itself is so wacky and so stupid. I mean, like, imagine being a parent taking your kid to this show. Like, the parents probably just think, okay, it's just pro wrestling's coming to town. And then you come out here, there's the fucking zombie and everything, and 19-year-old Kelly Kelly. And I mean, it's not like she, like, looked older. She looked fucking 19. She looked like 16. You know what I mean? She looked really young. She was really skinny and really short and everything. So she looked under the age of consent. What the fuck were those parents thinking? You know what I mean? This totally, like, I know ECW was about the violence and it was about the sex and everything, but, like, this is just not at all what, like, you know, like, the raw, mature content. It was woven into the wrestling storylines, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know they had Kimona at, in ECW, but I mean, even that I thought was just, like, that's not needed at all in and of itself. And again, you're on network television. You're on the Sci-Fi Network. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. This was just the dumbest. Like, just looking back on it, I just get so much more pissed about it. Because, like, this is just so stupid. Because this is doing nothing. This is just wasting time. Like, it's at no point did this ever raise anyone's stock. The only person like, Mike Knox became a heel with, you know, third grade Jericholic8704. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that came out of this. So then we had something even worse than Kelly's striptease, the Extreme Battle Royal. So in this Battle Royal, we have, like, Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, Al Snow, Withhead, Stevie Richards, Danny Doring, Little Guido, Big Guido. So the Full-Blooded Italians come out. Then we have Balls Mahoney, we have Roadkill, ECW legend, and we have Big Show. But let me tell you what I really hated about this Battle Royal more than anything in the world. You had a bunch of guys. See, like, the gimmick was, it was an extreme battle royal, so weapons were allowed. If you recall, to Survivor Series 2002, they had a hardcore women's match, and they had all the weapons on the ring post in a bunch of trash cans. That was a fucking brilliant idea for a battle royal, because you have a bunch of dudes exiting the ring. You have a bunch of dudes just going in and out, in and out, in and out, and you lose track because the point of the battle royal is you're basically playing the floor is lava and you got to stay in the ring. Now, I know the official rule is once you go over the top, you get out of the ring, then you're officially out of the match. But the problem is the whole gimmick of staying in the ring is kind of killed when people are exiting and entering as they please. It just seems stupid for a battle royal. So essentially, Big Show just tossed out everyone. He tossed out Al Snow, Danny Doring, Stevie Richards, Roadkill, Balls Mahoney. Oh, by the way, he tried a Cobra Clutch Slam on Balls Mahoney, but Balls Mahoney forgot to jump, and it was the worst Cobra Clutch Slam in the history of slams. So he tried to toss out Sabu, but Sabu hung on. He gorilla pressed Tommy Dreamer outside. He got rid of all the FBI. And then he eventually was, you know, it was him and Big Guido left, and Big Guido and him were struggling on the ropes, and Sabu came by with a chair and tossed the Big Show out for the win. So that's how ECW went off the air. This was a horrible battle royal. This was, okay, it went by quickly because it was an hour, and every segment was short enough to where, like, nothing really dragged to the point where I was going to just go insane. But everything was just a sign of bad things to come. And I thought this ECW, maybe, again, I'm looking back on this when I was in third grade, so all this was new, and I was so mesmerized by almost seeing Kelly's boobs that maybe I was just so enamored with this show that nothing could go wrong. Yeah, this was a horrible show because it's not inherently bad, but it's bad in 2017. This show is fucking awful because I know what's going to come of WWE ECW, and this is a bad sign. And just the fact that RVD looked like a total wimp in the opening segment, we didn't even see the rest of the champion for the rest of the show. He didn't wrestle. He looked like a total geek. John Cena and Edge, the two invaders from WWE, looked like the biggest stars on the show because they were. Oh my god, guys, this was just awful. So that's it for ECW. I actually might continue this because this is actually very fun. I love ripping apart this ECW show. So Raw might take a backseat. I don't know. I might just do this ECW review as opposed to doing Raw for this week. One, because I just really don't feel like watching Raw. And I think I just need to give myself a little bit of a break from Raw because it was kind of driving me crazy. But I will give you this show. And my name is Jericholic8704, and I will see all of you guys later.